Ramze from our last podcast. He is with the Shade of Brown, right?
Yes.
There you go. And then his cousin that I met, I think a week ago also.
Yeah.
Like I think it was the day after we did the podcast, or 2 days after.
It was on a Sunday.
So 2 days.
Sunday.
Yeah. Because we did the podcast on Friday, and then I met you guys I met him on Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday.
So we actually invited me to play pool.
Play some pool,
so Gilbert.
Billiards.
Yeah.
Nice to be here.
There you go.
Thank you for the invite.
Yeah, and then of course, if Mr. Omar, first time actually on the switcher, if you could go to number 4. There you go.
Hey, Omar. It's me. I'm learning how to do the thing.
There you go. So of course, this is going to be like a random, as far as like non-scheduled podcast. Me and Ramses were literally just hanging out today.
Yeah.
And I was kind of letting him know, I'm like, yo, like I have nothing scheduled for this week for a podcast. I want to be a little bit more consistent. He's like, man, I got you. Like, let's do it. And I'm like, all right, let's go get some food. Let's see who we could get. Mm-hmm. And literally we started calling, texting people, and Gilbert answered. He was at work at the time.
Yep.
But he literally picked up as via text, right?
Yeah, via text.
Yeah, because you were still working, and then called Omar over there. Where's your face, Omar?
It's right over here.
Shade of blue right there. Yeah. So that is the whole idea of today's podcast. There is no topic as far as like what we're going to talk about. There's no segment of where the conversation is going to go. Mm-hmm. It's literally just a random day with new friends, and then one over there with Shade of Blue over there.
Yep.
I'm Blue.
Omar,
cool
Mr.
guy.
Omar,
cool
aka
guy.
Shade of Blue. So basically, whatever we want to talk about today, it's literally the idea of my podcast is there is no there's no specific thing that I want to do with this podcast. It's just more for myself, just to do it when I have nothing else to do. There's no work. Technically, I always have work to do.
Okay.
I can't sit still. I can't do nothing. I was going to do editing. He came through. We started talking about the lighting. We started talking about the programs. And then from there, the conversation led up to what we're doing now. So
spontaneous. Yeah,
spontaneous. So I'm just going to give you guys a little bit of legway as far as like introduce yourself. And then from there, we're just going to open it up and talk about whatever we want.
Yeah.
Let's go for it.
I mean, you guys already know from the last episode, Ramze from Shade of Brown podcast. I mean, you want me to say a little bit more about myself, or?
Let's talk about a little bit about your background, not with the podcast. I think we were talking about like you used to play the drums.
Oh, yeah. I used to play the drums. Played for about 15 plus years.
Nice.
Probably seen Omar a couple of times at work. While he worked at Guitar Center. A little bit of drums, and then moved over to producing music, and then from producing music, now I'm doing podcasting.
There you go. And of course, I haven't posted the actual podcast that we did, but I'm pretty sure by the time that I post this one, that one's going to be already posted. Uh-huh. So for those that are barely going to listen to this one, feel free to listen to the one that he's in with his podcast, or the team that he's with, the Shade of Brown. Mm-hmm. Really good podcast, funny guys. Enjoy that conversation, and this is the reason why he's currently in my studio again, because I enjoyed his company. And from there, like you meet good people, you want to keep them around, and that's what it is,
Yeah. We did click like
fairly quickly.
We fairly quickly. We found out a lot of things about each other, and found out that it is a small city.
It's a very small town. Within the podcast, just to kind of keep it very short as far as like what he's trying to say, because it's kind of like a inside what we're talking about.
Yeah.
No one really knows. We had actually spoken about this in the podcast, that when it is a very small town, how maybe at some point we came across one another.
Cross paths.
Yeah, cross paths at one point, but maybe we didn't even notice each other because we weren't really in that headspace, like, oh, one day this guy's gonna be my friend, or one day this guy's gonna do a podcast, whatever. And it turns out, we had met each other at a certain point in our lives, which is a couple of years. I'm gonna say 5 years ago. It was a while ago.
It was a while.
It was a good minute. I don't even remember when it was, but it was a good minute ago.
Yeah.
After the podcast that we shot, I remember that conversation. We brought it up downstairs, and we were just kind of memory lane, and I'm like, oh, you're the guy. And we're like, that's exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So it's a very, very small town. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's very, very cool as far as like, you never know who you're going to meet and then you never know who you're going to come across as far as like who you're going to bring into your life again.
That's true.
Yeah. And of course I met Gilbert
Through Ramze, right?
via Ramze.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes.
So Ramze, if you could just kind of give us a little bio as far as like where do you live? I know your story, but as far as like the listeners, they want to know who you are, what you do, what you like to do for fun, inspirations, anything.
Like I said, my name is Gilbert. Pretty much, hobby wise, like I do, just like Ramze here, I do play the drums too. I just haven't played them in a while. I think the last time I was on the drum set was probably like 3 years ago. I think in March of 2020, that's when I stopped playing drums.
Recent.
Recent. But I've been playing drums since like 2012.
Okay, that's a lot.
Nice.
Yeah. One of my inspirations was my cousin Ramon. Because since
I'm flattered.
So I would see him play the drums growing up, and I was like, I would like to do that as well.
Okay.
And I learned, but I do live here in Palmdale. I literally live like 10 minutes away from this location, so I wasn't too far, and I still got here pretty late.
No worries. I was still setting up.
You're still setting up, so
you're good.
makes up for the time. But I am working at a dental office right now. I am a patient care coordinator.
Okay.
What I pretty much do is I handle insurance and billing part of the system. And, like we were talking earlier before we started, that I do pretty much make production for the company, for the doctors. That way they could get pretty much paid, So I'm in charge of, selling as well. So I do get commission. And, and I love it so far. It's stressful because I have to deal with a lot of insurances, a lot of different people every day. And a lot of math, because I got to figure out, if they put this much down, since I do contracts with them as well. So I got to figure out if they put this much down, how much will their monthlies be? So it's a lot of stress, but I love it.
That's good.
So I've been there for a little over a year now.
Okay.
I'm still thinking about going there until I decide to do my own thing.
Yeah.
So.
And we'll kind of go through as far as because we had briefly spoken about what you're wanting to do in the future.
Yes.
And of course, I'm fairly nosy now as far as when I'm meeting people, I really want to get to know who you are.
Yeah.
And the day we were playing pool, we're kind of going back and forth as far as who was playing, because it's 2-on-2, and of course your cousin over here is beating us.
Yeah, then I.
Yeah. He was the one that was focused. We were just kind of chit-chatting.
We were just chit-chatting, yeah.
Yeah, so I was kind of navigating your story, navigating what you're wanting to do later on.
Yeah.
We'll definitely bring that up as far as because I think that's a very good topic to bring up. And of course, the best but not least.
What's up, boys?
Mr. Omar.
The man, the myth, the legend.
There you go.
Hey, I appreciate being on here. I've been wanting to talk to you guys for a bit, just seeing you guys do your thing, and I'm like, man, now I'm handling your cameras.
Right.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. And as far as a little backstory of how I met Omar, this was, I'm going to say I was 20 or maybe 21. I'm 34 now.
I think, was it 21?
Yeah, I'm going to say I was 9 years. No, longer, 14 years.
Wow.
14 years that I remember I met you for the first time. It was at a gathering. I'm not going to go into
the details. Absolutely. No, that's all right.
I'm not going to go into details.
What kind of gathering?
Whoa.
No. I swear.
I was only 20. I was only 21. No, as far as because it's a fairly small town, and there are certain people that still follow me.
Yeah.
When it comes to social media, and also I still bump into people from time to time. Yeah. So, there's certain things that I don't like to bring up anymore because it's the past. Yeah. And certain things come up and they come and all that stuff. And that was a long time ago. 14 years ago, why talk about that? That was too far. Mm-hmm. Nothing mean or negative to say about any of those people in any way.
Absolutely. No, seriously. Exactly. Nothing but love.
Yeah, but as far as I would rather just keep that in the past. And if Omar wants to bring it out, I don't really care.
Yeah, I don't really care either. You know what I mean?
I just tell us, man.
Yeah. All right, here's the tea. I'm spilling it exclusively on your podcast.
Yeah, if Omar wants to bring it up, go for it. It's there's no filter on this podcast.
No pressure.
No pressure on Omar. And because I think you're still closer to who I'm trying not to speak about. And I'm not, to be honest with you, I have no associations for years besides certain family members that do follow me on social media that do currently just like or comment here and there. So it's more of just like, okay, it is what it is. But, you know, like I said, Omar's fairly close to who I'm trying to stay away from as far as like within my own mouth to this mic. But like I said, no filter on Omar, no filter on you guys. If you
I
guys
respect that.
Whoever.
I respect that.
You
as
know,
well,
yeah.
Absolutely. It was just family friend.
Yeah,
it was my family friend.
There.
So it was just, I saw him and I was like, yo, okay. I didn't know him.
Yeah.
He was a guitar player at the time. And I mean, he still is. But at the time, you know, I had just started playing guitar and you know, so I just looked at him like, oh, you're doing the thing that I want to be doing and you're really good at it. And that's how I met him. And hey, he's been a good friend ever since.
Right? Yeah,
Nice.
and as far as the connection between me and Omar, it's similar to now mine and Ramze's, where it was like, it was very natural. You know, it was very easy to talk to Omar at the time. I think I would say I was a lot more quieter than I am now. So
Absolutely.
Omar is way more talkative than I am as far as like, he's more spontaneous. He's a jokester in general. Like if you meet Omar anywhere, he's gonna say hi to you, he's gonna hug you. I'm the complete opposite. I literally would avoid people. I don't like being touched. He's the complete opposite. He'll come up to you and hug you. I'm like, bro, I don't like hugging, but he's like, bro, hug me.
We'll give you a big bear hug before we leave.
Hell yeah, bro. I love love. Come here and get it, bro.
Yeah, and like you said, I used to play the guitar, and then that's when I met him. He was already playing. You're already playing guitar, right?
Yeah, but I wasn't very good. You know, I was doing the whole, I'm strumming a few chords, trying to sing a
I
song,
think
you
you were
know.
playing reggae at that time.
What was I doing?
You were really into reggae.
No reggae.
I remember you were playing like some reggae.
Maybe I was working on my upbeat, but what was I into back? You know what? I was really into like Mumford and Sons and like the Lumineers probably when you met me.
Okay.
So I was doing a lot of like folky, like dun 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 dun. That's probably what you. But if you heard me playing reggae, I was just working on my upbeat, bro.
Okay,
that's all.
what it was?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, and from there, of course, I started establishing myself within the community when it came to the music section. And then, of course, I would go consistently to Guitar Center for strings or for whatever I needed for my instruments. And, of course, that's when Omar started working at Guitar Center. And that's where we started getting more connected because now it wasn't through the connection that we were connected through. It was via Guitar Center because I was always headed over there, not only to supply myself with guitar strings. It was more, hey, I just want to hang out. And Omar was there. And I would say Guitar Center is fairly lenient when it comes to their employees and wandering around and talking and you know, like it's just a very like nonchalant type of store because it's not like it's fast paced or anything.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure if they were busy, I'm not gonna bug him. He was always doing his job at that point too. But yeah, like that's kind of where we started like becoming more friends, you know. And you know, I had
The band, and yeah.
When I started the band, you'd come through, watch me,
Mm-hmm.
and then what else? Every now and we just bump into each other. So small town,
Small town,
like
absolutely.
I said, today was random. I was like, yo, I need someone to help me with the little switcher. Switch it.
It's my first time, baby.
I'm like, Omar, it's fairly simple.
There you go.
See these numbers?
I feel like I feel like I'm pushing it too many times, but
He came through though.
You came through,
Finger
exactly.
sweating right there.
Exactly. You came through. That's all I could say is thank you, you know?
Absolutely.
Thank you for being here and thank you for helping out because, you know, like I said, I don't know what to do with myself as far as like when it has nothing to do with work and I have to technically feel like I accomplished something. And
Stay
today
active,
we're
yeah.
accomplishing at least a podcast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So first time that you guys are meeting Omar and first time Omar is meeting you guys.
First time.
First
Yeah,
time.
exactly. Omar, if you could give us a little bit more of a background story besides your guitar playing. And then you had just mentioned, I don't know if you want to talk about this because it's fairly soon, about your now career path.
Oh, that's right. You know what? I wouldn't mind actually. So like you heard Irvin say, I worked at Guitar Center and I did that for 8 years. And this is what I was telling my boys before we started that 8 years is a long time to be doing anything.
Yeah. It's a
You know, I mean, one thing is if you've been doing 8 years of your passion, you know, you say, okay, I've been a carpenter or I've been a photographer or an artist and you've been doing that for so many years. Of course, you're going to do it till the day you die. But being a salesperson and then going into teaching, I quickly realized, okay, that's not really for me. I mean, it was for time being. It taught me sales, it taught me how to sell things. Most of my, charming personality comes from the fact that I've talked to, lots and lots of people constantly on a daily basis. And, putting myself in front of people, like most people get nervous or they'll feel some type of way. And, the job pretty much desensitized me. It made me just, oh yeah, you're just like me, except you look like this, or you're just like me, except you're a drummer, or I just started to see less separation between, oh, here's a situation that I feel uncomfortable with, and now it's just, no, this is just a situation. Here I am, and
so it became a routine.
It became my routine, and I was like, it's time for something new. So I was telling him I quit, and I ended up working for Hulu. For like 6 months, I was doing technical. I know, right? I didn't tell you or anything like that, but he was like, no, yeah, I worked for Hulu. I was doing their technical support over the phone at my house. It was a stay-at-home job type thing, 8 hours a day.
Like calling?
They were calling me. It was just old people who were like, my internet ain't working, and I was like,
but you're Hulu.
Exactly. So I would have to explain to them, have you just tried turning off your modem? And yeah, it would always work.
Okay.
And they just didn't know how to work it out. But I did that, and then I ended up quitting that, and then I had an old colleague tell me, hey, you come back to Guitar Center. You don't have to be a salesperson. You can just you could just be a teacher. And that's when they opened up lessons, and I did that for many years. And now I'm like, okay, I just quit. It's time for the new stage of my life.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and then for those that don't know, I used to be a teacher as well for a good amount of years.
Yeah, so he knows.
Yeah, it's a good career to go into, but it's something that you really have to like love and have to be just like naturally already that. Being a teacher, you're putting a lot of energy in your student, and then you're putting a lot of energy as far as your lesson plans. And I love teaching those that want to learn, but unfortunately, there's a lot of people that just don't want to learn. And the type of career when it comes to anything artistic, it's more of the parent wants the kid just to be kind of distracted for an hour, or
I was a glorified babysitter.
Yeah,
it was just what it was.
Do their own thing,
Like
and
the kids are forced to stay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's more like, okay, you're practicing for the kid because they didn't practice the lesson plan from the last week before. Yeah. And if you're doing that for a good amount of years, it's very draining because you're really trying to push what you're trying to teach. And at first you're very energized and, you're enthusiastic and you're excited, and you actually get very excited when you see the kids learn what you're trying to teach them prior, and from like not knowing how to play the guitar, from actually learning songs and actually playing songs. It's very exciting, but then again, you get those students that you'll have them for a whole year and they're still on the basics, and it's just like,
bro, my heart, that hurts.
Yeah, exactly. So definitely understand where Omar is coming from when it comes to now his section of life or his chapter of life.
It's over. It's over now. And Irvin, I swear, you literally would, in my mind right now, everything you were saying, I was like, oh yeah, those are my problems. Most of my time I'm playing to better myself and to be, the best guitar player, best artist, best songwriter, whatever I could do. And then I'd go into work and I had to convince somebody that this was the right thing to do, because their parents were like, you should do something, little Timmy. You should do something other than play video games. And it's going to be this, with this guy. This guy's going to teach you. And like I said, like you said, I was really excited, a lot of enthusiasm. I loved it in the beginning because I was like, oh, my passion has now become, my job, and I can make money doing this. And I felt real good about it, seeing these kids advance and get better. But then, then it was like, oh, that was only like 2 or 3 out of like the 30 I was teaching.
Yeah.
And oh man,
you start to feel resentful as far as like what you're doing too, because there are days that I remember certain students, and not that I don't feel grateful for those students, because those students actually allowed me to have some sort of living, paying for my insurance,
absolutely,
paying for my car,
paying
for the instruments that I was technically buying, and for the food that I was eating. But man, there were days where I'm like, I would wake up like, oh, today's Thursday, I have this student, like, oh, I wish today was over already. And that's something you don't want to ever have, go through your life, especially in your 20s. Like, you're in your 20s, you want to go and experience life, and I was already wanting the day to be over. And after, like I said, like Omar, after a couple of years, I'm like, I can't do this anymore.
Was your guys' like teaching guitar, was your patience ever tested?
Oh, for sure. Oh, man.
Every day.
Oh, man. I remember I used to teach at 2 private schools, and I used to teach privately. Omar worked at one location. I did it independently where I found my students, and I was literally marketing myself to, at least Omar got to just go to one location, and then students would come in and then choose Omar. Me, at the time I was doing Craigslist at the time too. So they would like, whoever would call me and then, hey, I need this, and then I need that, and then these days and whatever. So I had my schedule already. After a while, people started to recognize me as a teacher. So I started getting calls from private schools. And for those that don't know, you don't need your teacher's credentials to actually teach at a private school because it's funded via the parents. Now, at the time I was going to college for my teacher's credentials, because I thought that's what I was going to do for the rest of my life. I was going to teach music. I was going to be a music teacher. Fast forward, I got those jobs at the 2 private schools. And I basically remember one time the teacher prior, the one that was stepping down that I was going to replace, he told me, he's like, oh, I have one student, she's very, very shy. And I consider myself shy because I'm an introvert. So I'm like, oh, no worries, man. I'm good. You know, that's my personality. I got this. And the first time I met the student, really nice, very quiet, reserved. I was like, all right, cool. Good lesson. You know, went through the lesson plan, planning what we were planning to do, goals or whatever. The second time around, it kind of, I think maybe they were having a bad day, or it was just maybe that day that was just not a good day for that student.
Yeah.
And I was just basically going through the lesson plan, instructing them like, hey, do your hands like this because you're doing the wrong technique. And then they just got overwhelmed, and it wasn't nothing like overly complicated. It was very basic stuff, and then they just walked out. But it was just in my head. I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, from there, I was like,
hey, get back here.
Saying nothing.
Yeah, saying nothing. It was literally like super quiet. Like he actually told me they had a shyness. He said shyness sickness or whatever. I don't know what that means. To be honest with you, I know what shyness is. I know being anxious, anxiety, nervous, introvert. I know all these terms because that's who I am as a person. But like I said, it was just one of those days that maybe they were just having a bad day and the lesson plan was too much and it was just overwhelming. Like I said, it wasn't overwhelming on my senses as far as like what I remember because it was like all basics.
Yeah.
So
The
I remember
students would just walk out.
Yeah, it was just like one of those things. I'm like, that was the first time that it has ever happened to me. And like I said, I've never raised my voice, never really just like, oh, you're doing this wrong, and why are you doing this wrong? It was nothing like that. It was just more of just like
patient, very
simple instruction, and then all of a sudden walking out. And like I said, that was the only time that I remember. But I do remember other students. I'm like,
I remember walking out once on something.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Was it a teacher?
No, it was more of
He was a teacher.
Oh
no. Oh, I have taught other people drums.
Okay,
I have, but it's the reverse thing where I used to play drums for a church. We're talking way back, and it was practice because it was going to be like a big event or something, right? So there was like a lot of pressure on us, so we had to be like on top of it. And we were practicing this song like over and over and over. And there was a certain part where it was kind of hard to do on the drums, right? It was gospel. So let me tell you, when you're learning gospel, especially on drums, it's a little different.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? And it was a hard part. And the what do you call it? Like the main guy, the piano, the main guy, like he was getting upset.
At you?
At me.
Okay.
Yeah. And I would start to feel bad about it, this and that. And he's like, bro, you know, like, what are you doing, man? It's just easy like that. So he kept coming at me. And I got fed up once and I just got up and walked out. I didn't even say nothing. So I've done that, you know, just to get up and leave, you know?
Yeah.
Did you come back?
The same night, no. I mean, we scheduled another practice day and we tried again, you know.
Did he say anything afterwards?
He apologized.
Okay.
Yeah, because he realized that he was a little tough on me.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's trying to make you into a man.
but yeah, and that time in those years, I was only playing drums, right? But now like I learned to make music and produce music, later on in the years, and I come to realize what he was trying to teach me, like the whole discipline, of the music, and what he was trying to show me, and then we're talking years later after that incident, and I came to him like, hey, I now realize what you were trying to show me.
Now I appreciate it.
And I appreciate it.
There you go.
There
you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's something that we had we've had at least a couple of conversations as far as like pressure when it comes to guys and how it is to actually build somebody, like with pressure, positive reinforcement as well. And I think it's really good to have somebody just like not coddle you all the time, not give you everything, not tell you that you're the best or you're number one, because then you don't feel like you're not growing as a person, especially you as a guy. You need that pressure, like, yo, like I need to feel something, because as guys we're hard-headed, we're not gonna be like, oh, we're timid. No, we're hard-headed. We need someone sometimes to yell at us to like, yo,
of course,
get it, If not, your life is gonna come at you.
You need discipline, pretty much.
For me, as long as like their intentions is like they mean well.
Yeah.
They're coming at you and they mean well by it. Maybe at the moment you don't see it, but later on you do.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and that's what I mean, positive reinforcement.
Yeah.
They're not doing it with the intent to like basically belittle you. It's more of like, look, this is what it is. We're at a practice. We have to take this seriously. You're doing this incorrectly, and I'm pretty sure you're feeling the pressure because it was your section. And everybody was waiting on you, so you felt that pressure. But I'm pretty sure now you could do, or maybe experience the same thing, maybe feel that same pressure, but now deal with it a little bit differently. But like I said, if you don't have those experiences, or if you don't have anybody putting that pressure on you or that discipline on you, you'll never understand later on in life when it actually all comes to you. And I do see a lot of kids now that are growing up. They're technically my age, 34, but yet they're still thinking like little boys. They're still
mature.
Yeah, exactly. Like they don't know how to actually structure their lives or solve solutions, because the solutions were always solved for them.
It's true. Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's very something as far as like when it comes to sports, when it comes to music, you have to be disciplined. And I think I got that from both sides, because I used to run cross country and I used to play music, and of course I used to teach. So I had to stay disciplined. And I always had to carry myself in a certain way, because every job that I've ever had, I had to create. It was never given to me. So there was my self-discipline. I want to eat, or I want to have certain things, I have to work for it. It's not going to be given to me. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I relate to Omar teaching, and I relate to you as far as like being on that pressure.
Yeah.
And our youngest guy is your cousin.
Yep.
Yeah.
How old are you, Gilbert?
26.
Nice.
Yeah,
I just turned 26 like less than a month ago.
Yeah.
Barely.
Barely.
Barely 26.
barely.
Congratulations. You have nothing else to look forward to in life.
It's all downhill for me.
I know, right?
It's all downhill for me.
Every night, man, I cry. No, I'm joking.
Oh.
No, I'm joking.
Yeah, so if I could bring it towards Mr. Gilbert.
Of course.
We had a conversation. Like I said, we had played pool.
Yeah.
And I told you, or I asked you, I'm like, hey, if you still want, what is your long-term goals?
Yeah.
And the only reason I like to ask these things is because these are the things that weren't really asked when I was your age.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I was like maybe 32, 33 that it was one of my friends that she has her own like private practice. She's a therapist. She asked me, what is your 10-year goal? And I didn't know how to answer that.
Yeah.
So now when I meet someone new, I like to ask them that, because one, if she wouldn't have asked me then, which was 2 years ago, I probably wouldn't have thought about it. And of course, from there, I literally now think about every year, like, okay, it's a new year, but I'm now thinking not 9 years ahead. I'm still thinking the 10 years, like, because it is changing. And of course, if you could just let me, or let the audience know as far as like what your plans are besides working at the dental office.
Besides, well, for a while now, I did have I always had this dream of becoming self-employed, creating my own business. I would always watch those talk shows on YouTube, Mark Cuban and all that. So, pretty much my goal, you know, like you asked, the 10-year goal. Since I did go to culinary school for a while, I got my degree. Pretty much my goal would be to open up my own restaurant. I've always wanted to open up my own restaurant, my own, like, you know, little joint. I know the day we're playing pool, I told you that I pretty much have a menu set up already, you know, game plan. So I got that already set up. You know, I already know how to make things, you know, the ingredients and all. So I already have that settled down. But like I said, you know, just capital, you know. And I'm pretty sure all of us know what capital is, you know, money wise, you know, and also I don't know if you guys heard, you know, like even though I'm not there yet, like I always try to like fantasize like, oh, if I do end up opening this restaurant, which I know I will as long as I work hard.
Yeah.
You know, I always think about the 3 L's, you know, just location, location, location.
Yeah.
So as long as you're pretty good location,
You're
you know,
manifesting it.
Yeah,
And I don't like to use that word because I'm pretty sure everyone and their mom has been using it now on the internet. You know, especially you know you know, I know where the ladies right now are very manifestable of everything.
Manifestival.
I hear it too much. You know, where
I
me,
love
myself, I don't
that.
like using it anymore.
No, I know.
It's like, oh, bro, like it's overused. Like you made it. It's not even. It doesn't mean anything anymore.
It doesn't. No, but you know, but the idea of manifesting, I like that though, because the idea,
yeah,
and
we just need
maybe maybe not the word, maybe
change the word.
Change the word.
No, but pretty much it'll be opening up a restaurant. That's what I see myself doing in that 10-year mark and more. You know, God willing. Because I love to cook. I don't do it as often because with this job I'm working at, like I work from 9 to 7 sometimes. So I get home pretty tired.
Yeah.
And the first thing I do out of work is just go get some fast food or something. Yeah. But I love to cook, you know, and I know how to make, you know, breads from scratch. So I know how to do all that, and I got the pretty much the intelligence of how to, you know, work it out. Right now I actually do just my cousin, we have his brother, just like my cousin Isaiah's, you know, he gets his mobile detailing. So I have that going on as well with my brother.
Okay.
We started doing that in October. You know, but that's just something I want to, you know, I've been doing to kind of gather up money.
Yeah.
To help me out with my dream goal.
No, that's good. That's good. And that's something that I was actually going to advise you or actually state to you. Like, there's a lot of people that have a lot of dreams and then they hit the 9 to 5 and then of course they want to relax on the weekends or after the 5 they want to just watch a movie, just literally relax. Just kind of relax, not think about nothing. But the thing is that we are limited on time. We are renting this space as far as like this era. It's going to come and go. And then, of course, the next generation is going to come up. So you could either navigate life as an average person or navigate life as an unaverage person, which is like literally because you are 26. And I say this to anybody that walks into my studio because there are younger guys that want to be a creative, do similar things that I do. And they ask me, how did you get up to the point where you're at now? You have to sacrifice technically your 20s. Your priority is technically what you really want to do because right now you're at an age where you have energy and it's your youth. You know,
pretty much,
I'm 34, and I was telling Ramze when he came through in the morning because we had the similar conversation in the morning. I'm like, right now in the morning, I have to stretch.
Oh yeah,
you know, it's no longer an option. I have to
stretch, bro. My back.
You know, I'm 34 now. Back. It's not like I'm like limping or anything. I have no injuries, but I do feel my body a little bit different now. You know, I have like. It's a little bit more tighter. My legs are tighter. My back's tighter. My neck's tighter. So I have to do like at least 20 to 30 minutes of stretch in the morning. And if not, I feel the difference as far as like how I'm moving. You know, like the energy that, like I said, that you have, it's a natural energy because you're young. So use it towards your advantage. And like I said, I tell this to anybody that comes through because they are younger kids that want to be creatives. They want to do what I do when it comes to the photography, videography, or editing. I tell them, you're at a certain age where you want to go live it up. You want to highlight your life on Instagram. It can't, if you're going to want to do something creative or something creative when it comes to food, or if you want to be an entrepreneur, you have to understand this is the time to do it. So after you're 5, when you come home, make sure like you're planning something at least an hour same thing on the weekends. Right now, technically you are doing it because you have another job that you're trying to put money or save up money
on the side,
to do what you really wanted to do, which I think that's a really great idea.
Yeah. And before I did the car detailing with my brother, it was my idea first. I kind of got him involved. Before that, I was kind of just thinking what I could do to raise money, because there came that point in my life where I was unmotivated because I felt like, man, how am I going to raise this money? So there was a point in life where I felt unmotivated to actually pursue my dreams.
Yeah.
But it just like a spark, it just woken up in me. It just woke up in me again, and like car detailing came into my mind. And I feel like that could be like some capital I could use towards the dream too.
Yeah, for sure.
Restaurant.
Yeah, just stay disciplined. I know it's easy here in this country to feel comfortable because things are handed to us.
Yeah, that's true.
We do see other people, like I said, highlighting their life on social media, and unfortunately, it's all fake.
Yeah.
So it is a distraction, and it's very unmotivating because one, if you don't come from money, you start to compare yourself to that lifestyle that you don't have, and it could be very unmotivated towards what you need to do that day. Because we do want to relax, we do want comfort, and comfort technically will allow us not to get to what we need to go to, which is technically your dream as far as like being a cook or owning your own restaurant.
Yeah.
And that's going to take a minute just to get to that point. And once you get to that point, that's going to be another thing that you need to actually understand, like how to run a business, how to run employees, how to run a kitchen, and then basically how to market yourself. So right now you're at a point where you're kind of having to do it little by little.
Yeah.
And I think it's a really good idea. Or one, I feel grateful that I met you at the point that you are at right now. And I'm really happy that you're here too, because I don't really get along with, I'm going to say, I don't get along with people. I don't like bringing in people to my circle. And I think that's something that I relate with Ramses too.
Yeah.
That we're very picky when it comes to those that we kind of bring into our circle. And now I'm in his circle, he's in my circle, and now you're in my circle. Omar's been in my circle for a minute. He's over there.
I'm over here.
Yeah, but those are the things that I think it's very good that I met you, and that you're fairly young, you're still motivated. You told me what you wanted to do, and I'm like, bro, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I was at your age, and I'm like, man, one day I want this, one day I dream about this. And I know the struggles that I needed to go through, and it's gonna be a lot of struggles. Like I'm telling you, there's gonna be more days that you're not gonna want to do things, you're not gonna want to you're not gonna want to do anything. But I'm telling you, just do it. Like tired, sad, depressed, sick, energized, happy, it doesn't matter. You do it. However you feel, you do it. That's the only thing that I would say. That's like consistency. It doesn't matter what type of day it is, sunny, cold, hot,
raining, because it's raining right now.
Snowy, windy. You do what you need to do, because that's the only way to get to where you want to go.
Yeah, it's true. And one thing I did notice that there's not many, in my point of view, there's not many people my age that are actually motivated to do their own thing. Like, it's hard for me to find people my age that want to open up their own business or whatever. Most of the people that I talk to are like older than me, like I hang out with Ramon, obviously he's older than me. I'm hanging out with you guys are older than me. Because you guys, I pretty much point my attention to those who actually, dream of doing things that, they always dreamed about doing.
Yeah, they're not the average thing.
They're not the average thing. And there's a moment I was hanging out with this group of friends, I'll talk to them about could you ever thought of just instead of working here, you want to do your own thing? And all of them will always tell me no. It's like, nah, dude, it's too much work. Yeah. What if I do it and I don't make it? And I always tell them like, no, you can't think that way. I know you get unmotivated, but I was always around a group that just didn't have the same mindset I had. Yeah. So that's why I had to separate myself from them. Yeah. In order to open up my mind a little bit more. Yeah. So. Yeah,
and to kind of build off of what you're trying to say is that when you are actually the unaverage person, because I had a conversation, he was like 45, because I do real estate photography, videography. For those that don't know in this platform, because I do have another podcast, InView Media Podcast. So listen to that, subscribe, like,
shameless plug.
I'm gonna follow you right now.
All right. I met this guy that was selling his house. He was 45, closer to 50. He was letting me know that he does construction. He had 2 properties, but he wanted to keep building capital and everything. And he was letting me know, like, he was just complimenting me, like, man, you're an entrepreneur, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, where do you meet these people that you talk to? And I'm like, honestly, like, you have to understand that if you're going to be the type of person that wants to do the things that you want to do and are serious about it, where you basically sacrifice a lot of things, you have to understand you're going to be a loner.
Yeah, that's
those
true.
people that you're imagining that I talk to, they're not existent. Yeah, I have a group of friends that I like to hang out with every now and then, but the average person isn't doing what technically you want to do. They don't want to actually go out of their way and build something and almost like have the non-security to one day be secure. And then, of course, fulfill a purpose, which is technically you want to be a cook. So you have to understand that you will be alone on that dream as far as like until you get there. And then at one point you're going to meet a kid. And then he's going to be like, oh, how'd you get that? And how you stay motivated? It's internal. If you have it, it's there. If you don't have it, it's not there. And unfortunately, a lot of people talk too much and it's not there for them. They just like to do it to boost themselves up because they are almost like trying to fake it in order for them to just continue their lives, which is basically dull.
Make it.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. Like it's just like I said, it's very easy to stay comfortable here.
It is.
It's very easy to just get things here. It is fairly expensive in California, but like I said, you're not going to starve here because there's work here. You're not going to live a luxurious life or whatever, but there is work here. There's ways to actually get food here, like discounts.
That's true.
ETA or whatever if you're in that position. But like I said, you just have to like understand that what you have right now, it in your circle with friends, you're going to be a loner. You're going to be the only one. And I think it's good that you are hanging out with your cousin because he is a little older. And I think it's very important that younger men hang out with older men so that they could almost be like the mentor. Because younger people technically navigate sometimes too random. They live their lives in the moments and they don't think too far ahead because they're living their young, youthful lives where they just want to, like I said, highlight, and that's it.
Exactly. And I feel like that motivation, it's probably not 100% correct, but I feel like motivation to become your own business, to create your own business, comes from the type of past you lived. Because me, I grew up pretty, I guess I could say I grew up pretty poor with my family. My dad at the time didn't really had enough work because, he had no papers back then. We were struggling so much. But so I guess my motivation just came from that, that I wouldn't want that for my future kids.
There you go.
So I would like to build a foundation, even for my parents, because my dream would be to retire my parents. That way they don't have to work another day in their life, So I think that's where the motivation for me comes from,
there you go.
And I know it's probably the same for you guys too.
No, for sure. I think anybody that has ever built anything from scratch has always gone through something in their past where they don't want it to literally go through it their second half of their life. Because I'm like you. I've lived a humble life, which is being poor. I would rather not be poor and live the life that I'm living now. I've already lived poor. I'm no longer poor. I've lived both. I'm comparing. I like not being poor. Yeah, I like not being poor. So I'm going to stay over here.
I like having the 14 iPhone,
Yeah, I like not being poor. So I'm going to stay over here, but I understand that. Not to be poor, I have to do these certain things and do every day. And like I said, however I feel, whatever day, like just go and do it. Me and Ramze, how we're talking about people that always talk about doing podcasting and how easy they think it looks. But in reality, the behind the scenes before it's setting up, the post processing, the uploading, the doing the thumbnails,
all the editing,
subscribe and marketing, it's a lot of work where I don't even like doing it, but I understand if I want to do something like this, I have to do it. It's regardless how I feel, I have to do it. And he has his own podcast right now that I'm 100% supporting much as possible because out here you don't really see a lot of people doing it. So when I saw his podcast, I'm like, bro, you need to be on my podcast too because we need to support one another.
There you go.
Love it.
Wait, so how long have you been doing your podcast? Like, when did you start doing your podcast?
I started this podcast 2 years ago. But the thing is that at the time, I was still building the company. And then it kind of just happened randomly. The way that my company happened is the way that I'm doing. I technically do things the way that I want to do them, and because I enjoy doing them, I think it kind of like it goes out to whoever I'm trying to sell it, but I'm not really trying to sell anything, and then they want it for themselves.
Oh, I see.
So the way that I did my podcast 2 years ago is one to understand how to do the podcast, how to have a conversation, and then how to feel comfortable in front of the camera. From there, people started asking me, yo, I want to do my own podcast. How much do you charge for videography? How much do you charge for photography? But like I said, because I was already doing like self-marketing and it became natural, I kind of like, my company kind of just blew up.
Just grew.
It grew to the point where I didn't have no time to do my own podcast anymore. And I did one last year when I first got this studio. And I didn't have sound panels. I maybe had this table. I didn't have the equipment that I have now, but it was just starting up. This little studio was like barely from a year ago. And then in December, because real estate photography and videography, it's a seasonal thing too. December is fairly slow. January, we're in January now, it's fairly slow too. I'm like, you know what? I do have InView Media Podcast, which I promote that company, but it's purposeful. It's for a company. It's marketing that company. It's bringing in clients. I'm basically giving shout outs to those that are using my company, which is really great. But I want to do something just for me. Where the idea could be random, like today. Where I'm not overthinking about the topic. I'm not overthinking about who I'm bringing in. It's more just, it's for me. I enjoy this. Let me continue this. And December came along. I'm like, all right, my calendar, it seems a little bit more free. Let's see what I could do. I started texting people. I'm like, hey, my drummer came through first, then my friend Danny, then my friend Sophie. And then, of course, that's when I met you guys. And then today, like, random day.
We're here.
I'm like, bro, hey, let's get it. Just
It's been consistent.
Right? Just another podcast in the book. So that makes me happy, though. Like, just the idea that I'm doing it for myself. That's what I like. But 2 years ago, to answer your question.
It's good. Nice. You came a long way, bro.
Yeah, well, I'm getting there. I'm definitely getting there. It's a work of progress, you know.
It really is. That when we left the bowling alley, I was telling him, like, we were talking about it. I was like, dude, Irvin inspires me so much, man. Like, you're a big inspiration.
Yeah, he was telling me.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you inspired me so much. That little talk we had inspired me so much.
Yeah, like I said, it's one of those things, like, I know for a fact I wouldn't have spoken to you that way if you wouldn't have said the things you told me.
Yeah.
If you would have told me, oh, yeah, I'm just doing this, and I would have said, oh, it's your 10-year plan, you would have said, I don't know, or I hadn't thought about it. It's more than the conversation would have led up to, like, small talk, which is fine, because I'm not going to be mean to everybody, or I'm not going to just stop talking to anybody. But it's more because you told me, like, oh, I went to culinary school, and this is what I'm thinking. And then I was kind of giving you the breakdown of financials.
Yeah,
I'm like, hey, this is what you could do. This is what you don't really need to navigate. And because I've gone through that already. Yeah. And then why not give the information to somebody that's kind of trying to do the same thing?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, one day you're going to meet a younger yourself, and then you're going to want to say the same things. So continue doing it.
Another chubby Mexican somewhere.
Yeah, but and then Ramze, like I said, he's doing his part. You know, he's like once again, he has his own 9 to 5, but then he has his own podcast. You know, he struggles staying up. You know, getting the rest of the guys, they have their 9 to 5, they have their wives and their kids, but they're staying up. You know, they're doing the unaverage to be an average person. So
this is the type of group I love to be around. You know.
Is that why you like to hang around with me?
Is that the reason?
I stream about being in the podcast.
Have you been on this podcast?
Yeah, like twice.
Oh, okay.
Twice.
I was his first.
He was actually my first, but
audio.
When we only did audio.
Yeah.
At that time.
Did it sound like the person behind the drive-thru?
Yeah.
It sounded like that.
Yeah,
it sounded like he was taking my order, bro.
And so we started having video, and it only felt right to have him back.
Yeah.
But in video.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. No, I think he, like as far as I see when I saw you or met you, like you seem like nonchalant, very like not overly top, somebody that is trying to be something that they're not. Because there's a lot of people like that.
Yeah, like posers.
Yeah, there you go. I don't want it to be nice, but yeah, they're all posers.
I'm triggered.
He's not really into baseball. He just likes the color. Yeah, but no, that's cool, man. Just keep hanging out with your cousin because I think he's a very good influence.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, he's a very, very good influence.
Hey.
A little carried away.
Yeah, and as far as like the transition of Mr. Omar over there, Mr. Blue.
It's
There
me.
you go. Look like a cartel guy over
I
there.
do. You know what? Hopefully the sliding will do it. Because I mean, I'm saying I look good, man. This monitor looks good. I'm just really blue.
Very blue.
Yeah.
Hey, but I salute to you, Omar, for, deciding, for your next career path.
Yeah.
You know?
Thank you. No, yeah. Like I said, I feel the same way you guys did. I think most of my life I wanted to own a business or a company or something. Just make my own money because I always catch myself performing really well. Mm-hmm. And when you perform well at any job, either one of two things happen. Either A, they keep you exactly where you're at because you're a good worker, or B, you move up. But for me, I could never move up because internally I just didn't want to make money for other people. But I don't think it was something I accepted until recently when I was like, oh, wait a minute, this corporation's making a lot of money off of me and they're treating people pretty poorly. And the way I do business, I'm real personal, like Irvin was saying. I you come up to me, I give you a hug. And, in the moment you meet me, we're best friends and you just met me. So that's how I present myself.
Yeah.
And this company, like any corporation, they got to make their money. I get it. So they got certain things in play that will, minimize the amount of things that could go wrong with people.
Yeah.
But that's just not how I do things.
Yeah, of course.
And I thought, okay, maybe it's time for a change.
Yeah, for sure. What was your turning point of as far as like your like aha moment? Like, you know what? I can't do this anymore.
That's a good question. The aha moment. That was, I want to say in the middle of this year, I caught myself just doing a bunch of things that weren't like music related because, like I said, I teach, but personally, I was a songwriter. I was, singer-songwriter. I write music. Like in my brain, the dream was, oh, let's go tour, let's go play some music, let's go entertain some people. And I still love doing that, clearly, you can see it. But I caught myself just learning about investments and like looking up a bunch of YouTube videos about like affiliate marketing and like ways to make money online. And then I was like, oh, I'm doing a lot of non-music related stuff. I think I want money, and honestly, where I was at, money wasn't going to come.
Yeah.
I was too busy making it for somebody else.
Yeah.
And teaching, like I said, it's a small cap.
Yeah.
Because you have to trade your time.
Yeah.
And when you trade your time, you only have so many hours in a day. And I was like, oh, okay, well then teaching's not it either because I only have 8 hours, 8 hours, to work, but I don't even want to work 8 hours. Like that's too much time. Because again, I would want to invest it in something else. And that's the moment when I was like, oh, I need to quit. But I was just, a little scared like anybody else would. And I couldn't do it. And for 6 months, I started getting real emotional and I started feeling like angry and bitter. And when I'd go into work, I'd look at my students and I'd feel some type of way. And then no hatred. Just kind of like, I'm giving you this time. And I'm 32. My time is coming down. I'm sure, I don't know, Gilbert over here, like he's 26 and I'm sure you'll get to that, or maybe you got to that point sooner, but like it took me a while. I think I was comfortable, like you said, Irvin. It was really easy to get comfortable in my position because I was like, cool, I just show up, I show little Timmy some, Metallica song, and then I'm good. I don't have to do too much thinking, too much moving. And
critical thinking wasn't there.
No. And now I'm like, no, I at the end of the year, I had this new boss that I've been dealing with for the last 6 months, and she reminded me that it doesn't matter how on top of the world you feel, because somebody else can just come. And throw you off. And she, no offense. She was doing the job exactly the way she should. Like there's no offense to that. It's just, I had made a home there. I had made my little nest. I got real comfortable. And then someone came in and reminded me, oh, you're comfortable. Dink. Knock me down.
Yeah.
And that was good. That was exactly what I needed, because now I'm starting my own business, and it's not teaching related, just so you know.
Announce it? I don't want to put you on the spot, but do you want to announce what you're going to do? Because I want to keep you accountable as far as like what you're going to do.
You know what? Yeah, absolutely. I love that you said that.
Podcast, whoever is listening, this is Omar. You could find him on, I don't know what your Instagram is.
Already here first.
Go message him in a year, see where he's at.
There you go.
Give me a few months, actually. It's omar.j.ruiz at Instagram. And
watch what you're doing now.
And please do, just because this is the most excited I felt about something, where I was like, oh, this is doable. This is possible. Because again, I told you, I've been looking a lot of stuff online to see what I can do to make money online. And there was just a lot of things that just didn't resonate with me. And my brother-in-law, he started his own business. It's called AV Scoops. And believe it or not, it's a poop scooping business. It did not exist in the AV. And he heard some podcasts where some people in like the Midwest, East Coast were like doing it. And he just followed the same format here.
There you go.
And now for a year, over 2 years now, he quit his 9 to 5. You know, he's taking care of my sister, because it's, you know, my brother-in-law, and he's taking care of everything. He's taking care of business, and he works a few hours a day and makes as much as any full-time employee would. That's making good money.
Day's worth.
Yes, exactly.
Wow.
And this is the guy I hang out with. So like, you know, Gilbert saying he likes hanging out with like his, you know, his cousin and all these people that, you know, like that are doing stuff.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, that's what gets you moving.
Yeah, the influence around you.
Because you know, like if you just sit at home all day, what are you learning?
Yeah.
Like, you ain't got nothing going on. But just so you know, I'm hyping up this business so much, just so you understand.
Go do it.
It's actually just it's a cleaning business. It's
like bro, like this is a platform that I want everybody to benefit from. You know? Like, I know my platform is not that big. I have like maybe like at this point 32 subscribers, which is nothing. And I think last time we've spoken about the views that we don't really get on YouTube, because it's a very hard thing to do when it comes to podcasting. But still, like, I love doing it because I love doing it. And, you know, like, it's not providing me income right now, but I still love doing it.
Mm-hmm.
The things that I'm doing, you know, like the real estate stuff, the marketing videos, I love doing that stuff too. But long term, there's a lot of things that I still want to continue learning and doing for myself. But that is my position that I grew as far as like my foundation, where that's where you're growing. And then that's where you're growing right now when it comes to, you know, your current job, your side gig, and then basically you're going to do something from that to then build something for yourself, as far as like, you know, building your store, building your cleaning company, you know, and that's what it is, you know. And this is just a personal question, and this could go for everybody. When it comes to, because you spoke about money or income.
Yes.
When it comes to income, what are your thoughts as far as like, maybe you're going to think about this a little bit different because you're a little younger than us. When it comes to money, what is it that one changed your mind about it when you were younger? When you're Gilbert's age, now currently 32, is your position or your thought of money differently?
Yes. Now, I mean, just like I'm sure anybody and if you're looking at the hat, I'm sure anybody who's ever gone down any spiritual path, you've probably heard money is the root of all evil. And, you know what, that stuff will stick with you. You'll unconsciously start looking at the people around you like, oh man, you're acting all this way about some money, or, oh, you're talking all this because of some money, or, oh, wow, you're only around me because of money. And then I think, oh, I don't want money. Money just makes people pay attention to you more, or want to take things from you, or want to use you for something. And I can't stand that. It was just something morally where I was like, I don't align with this thing. Okay. So unconsciously for many years, I didn't realize I was operating like that. That I was like, oh, I don't want to make money. I don't need to make money. There's no reason for me. It's just going to make people blah, or it's going to make me, you know, some type of way where now I'm, you know, on top of the world, and I'm looking at people like ants. And, but recently I realized that money's a tool, just like a hammer. I don't feel some type of way about a hammer. I don't blame the hammer for my problems or what it does to other people, you know.
Yeah, you don't have that victim mentality.
Exactly. No victim mentality. It was like, dude, I just need this tool because this tool will take care of my mom. You said, Gilbert, you said that you wanted to take care of your mom. And I was like, dude, my family, my mom, my sister, my brother, like these people who've been struggling, and I watch them and I don't want them to struggle. And I think that's good enough motivation to want you to do something, because for me, I didn't need it.
Do you think that's internal?
Good question. Internal, as far as like
You as a guy.
One more time.
You as a male.
Yes.
Do you think it's internal for you to feel a certain way to provide and protect?
Ooh, you know what? I never thought about that. I never thought about that. I think internally, yes. I think I'm traditional. As you can see, I was raised Catholic by a good Mexican woman who, instilled these family morals and like the idea of taking care of one another. A lot of times we see people who are just like, oh, they're not working for you. Just get rid of them. Just get rid of them. And to an extent, yes, I get it. If they're not serving purpose, let them go. But my mom taught me unconditional love. Okay. And that's what I took with me. And that unconditional love turned into, okay, I don't want to hurt nobody. Yeah. This money's going to make me hurt somebody or make people act some way. So I don't want it. But now it's flipped, because in my head, I'm like, no, that's my personal relationship with individuals. Okay. Because you'll only take as much as I let you take.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's my decision to make. But before, it was everybody else's decision to make for me. Because, I'm a man of God, or I'm this, I'm that, or whatever's going on in my head that's convincing me that this is what I'm supposed to do.
Gotcha.
And now I'm like, hey, let's make some money. If I can make some money, I can do what I want to do. Just like you, Irvin. You wanted to do photography, all this, so that you can support your passion. That's what I'm doing. I'm starting this cleaning business so I can take care of my family first. That's number one.
Yes.
And then number two, just pay my bills. And if it could pay my bills and my mama's bills and everybody else in my immediate circle, then I'll go do whatever I want to do.
There you go.
And I'll do it with no condition.
There you go.
Because that's been my problem. There's always been conditions, and I don't need conditions. I just want to do.
Yeah, there you go.
Nice.
And how about you guys? Same question.
I kind of relate to Omar like right now a lot. I work a job too, 9-to-5 job, and I do the podcast on the side of that, right? But before that, before starting this my podcast, I tried other things like side hustles. I tried drop shipping. I tried music, like getting my clientele with music, like mixing, making beats for them, even like a bunch of different people that will come to me, little rappers over here. Like, hey, I need a beat, like how much for a beat? Like, yeah, I not only I got you a beat, I can mix for you and I can master for you. I'm the whole package. I tried to be the whole package, and I tried to dabble a bunch of different stuff. But I always wanted to start a podcast. I always wanted to. And those things, drop shipping, do the music, all these other little high side hustles that I tried to do, didn't really work out. I wasn't really getting like the satisfaction, like kind of like what you were saying, Omar, like the money thing, like, but there's something more to it.
Yeah.
I was feeling like that too. And when I started the podcast, I got a sense of satisfactory.
Yeah, just from doing it.
Yeah.
No reason.
Yeah, and working from 9 to job, and I guess you could say I wanted something that's mine.
Yeah.
That's something that I created from the ground up. And this podcast of mine is like I'm super proud of. Like I'm like, like that's like my baby right now, Even though
it's not making you money, you're happy.
Yeah, even though at the moment it's not. But I'm still want to make it grow, And with the guys, my other co-hosts, like how do you say this? Wow. I'm very grateful for these guys. I'm not trying to get like all touchy right now. Or,
No, do it. Talk about your feelings, bro.
we talked about this before we started the podcast. Like, we're gonna talk feelings today.
That's all we're here for.
Hey, I'm in touch with my feelings. I'm sorry.
hey.
Phoenix downstairs, man.
But what I'm trying, I have something genuinely that I actually do love for the first time in my life.
Yes. All right.
You know, outside of having a job. You know what I mean? Something I created, something that I'm still progressing in it, you know, that have an actual drive for it, a passion I get excited for, all these things that I didn't have before for something, not even for music. And I love music, yes, but there wasn't not as much as drive as I do have now for this podcast. And it's something that, like I'm excited. And money, I'm not really thinking about that right now. I'm more thinking about how we're going to do this, how we're going to make this grow, you know? And I don't know, man. It's just like Omar's saying, you know, it's like something more than money.
Yeah.
It's something more.
I think when it comes to you, and I'm sorry if I'm psychoanalyzing you right now.
I'll do it all day. That's what this podcast is about.
I think
It's therapy right now.
Yeah, I think it's very important that you navigate two separate sections of your life when it comes to you being as a human being.
Yeah.
When you've already taken care of your financials as far as your 9 to 5, you have a security. But of course, you have to find your own purpose as a person, as a human being. Yeah, we are here to procreate, you know, to continue life.
Okay.
But right now, we're not in that point in our lives right now. Me and you. I would say me and you because we're the ones that are, or actually Omar too.
Yeah, me too, man. No kids. No kids.
He has no kids either.
Yeah.
And of course, Gilbert's fairly young.
Yeah.
I think you're at a position right now, like I said, just prioritize what you need to do.
Yeah.
Because at this point, you have all the time, you know, restrictions, you have responsibilities as far as like kids, wives, all that stuff. So just keep doing it, your thing. But when it comes to you, I think it's more of you're my age and you've been doing the same kind of thing. Like when it comes to being, you're just being resourceful for yourself when it comes to financially. So you're being responsible, but you're not fulfilling your person. You know, that idea of who you really are as a person. Yeah, we love things. We love hobbies because we're guys, you know, we like doing random stuff.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, you need to find your own person within yourself. And I think you found it within your podcast. Because not only you're doing it for yourself, you're seeing how it's affecting your brother in a positive way. You're affecting how it's affecting Anthony in a positive way. And not only just you guys as a group, you basically told me last time in the podcast, you're wanting to do it where you're promoting small local businesses.
Yeah.
So I think within that self, it's very selfless and not selfish because you are doing it for yourself, but it's a selfish motivation.
Yeah.
So it's more than just you. It's greater than you.
Yeah.
It's more than what you actually think it is at this point. But like I said, that's my analyzing you.
Yeah. No, actually, you got it right on it because I've actually have told like the guys like, hey, take a step back, look at this thing what we have as a whole. What do we got here? And it's like what you're saying, like something selfless because we're out here promoting these local businesses, you know, reaching out, you know. Anthony said on the podcast before that it's usually me reaching out to these other mom and pop businesses out here. Yeah. You know, I'm not going out here reaching out corporate, you know, clout chasing, you know, or these influencers or whatever you might call them. Nah, bro, we're keeping it to the root and keeping it real. Yeah. You know, and I told these guys, like, look, we got something here as a whole. Look. Like, you know what I mean? Look carefully. Like, look what it is. And what you just said, like something that's selfless. I'm like, well, yeah, it actually is.
I like that.
I am doing something selfless.
Yeah, you definitely did it within yourself as far as like, yeah, I'm doing it for me, but it's technically not for me. It's for
it's like,
you know, it's a very hard way. It's hard for me to even explain it because I'm not a therapist.
No, but I do get you. No, but the funny thing, I do
go
get
back
you.
to school, boy.
Yeah.
We need Anthony here because he's a therapist.
No way. You got a buddy who's a therapist?
Oh, he went to school for therapy.
Okay, I want to talk to him. Bring him in, bro. I you know, my insurance, you know.
We're going to bring him back.
You're next home.
We're going to get one of those couches where you lay down.
Yeah, but no, I think that's really good. Like I said, that's what I kind of got from when I first met you, when I heard you guys talk about the podcast, and when I first heard you talk about the podcast, I'm like, yeah, that's definitely for himself. And I think it's very important that I would say all humans, not just guys. I think it's more for men and women. We all have technically we have a specific role in this world. Like I said, it's very, very simple. We just overthink, we overcomplicate. We're all special at some, like we all think everything. We're all our, big brother's always watching us because we're FaceTiming, live chatting and all that stuff. So for some reason, we're just not understanding what the role is as far as like when it comes to living. We are renting this space, this time. Where at one point, anything that's guaranteed, it's when we are born and we die, and that's it. That's guaranteed. But as far as purpose of life is to technically create life and to continue life. But we overcomplicate everything. That's the standard of foundation of what is life. From there, then you have your own personal goals, your own personal purposes within life. But for some reason, we as humans, we tend to navigate life a little bit too stagnant, and then we tend to skip certain things. Like I said, you are doing what you need to do as a person, doing your 9 to 5 because you're doing it because that's what society had told you.
It requires it.
You're required. This is what you need to do because this is being responsible. Cool. You are doing it. And I recommend that to him right now because he's 26. And I'm telling him, doing this because you're at this age, be responsible. Also, be responsible with your money, be responsible with your time, and then fulfill your purpose. Yeah. You have fulfilled your basic purpose as far as a person. You're 9 to 5. You're taking care of your finances. You're being responsible. But now you have to fulfill your fulfillment as a person now. That's where you're at right now. And I think that's where Omar is at right now too. Yeah, because he had just said he had just quit his job. He is like, hey, I've realized this is not keeping me happy. I've done this for so many years, but I have more to give.
Yeah. We're in a new year, 2023. And I told the guys, you know what, you guys, I think this was like maybe January 2nd. I think you were there too. We were at my brother's house. Our cousins, Isaiah's, we were there at the table all together. Your sister was there too. Yeah. And we started talking. We were going around the table like, hey, goals for this year. What about you? What about you? What about you? What did I say about my podcast? Like, I want to go all in. Yeah. And literally this year, bro, like I'm pulling the trigger. Like I'm going 100.
That's good.
I'm going all in because, like I said, for the first time in my life, I have a sense of meaning. I have something, a meaning, something genuine that I have something. Also, did I say this in the last episode? But we got our own space now.
Nice.
And starting the podcast, that was not even the agenda whatsoever. Yeah. We were just like, let's just do this for fun and it's whatever. But we're getting our own space now. So that's why, like, when things like that happen, chapters in this podcast journey, I back up and look at the whole picture. What's going on here? That's why I say, like, I see what's going on here. I do see it, and I'm aware. I'm going all in.
I think it's a good idea that you are stepping out of your own, your own chapter too, and just basically understanding what's happening too, because that's the one thing that I had to learn. I'm going to say the end of last year, because I'm more of a go, that type of person. And I sometimes forget the things that I have and are took time. And because I'm living this life every day, I don't really understand, like, oh, when you guys come in, you're like, oh, I'm impressed and everything. But I'm like, oh, I'm in here. I sometimes forget.
Yeah, because you see it every day.
Exactly. I sometimes forget. And I think it's very important that you do step back and you're like, okay, just take appreciation. Be grateful. Exactly.
That's what it is.
Be very grateful as far as like your situation now, because a year ago, 2 years ago, it wasn't like this. You never thought about this, and maybe you did think about this, but now you're currently here. But because you've been doing it on a daily, it's been becoming routine, and your appreciation for what you created isn't as impactful because you are doing it every day. Same question as far as like what we were talking about.
I forgot the question. What is it?
No worries. The question was as far as like, and like I said, you are a certain age. We're a little older than you.
Yeah.
Me and Ramses are the oldest, and then
we're the
comes
oldest
Omar.
ones here.
Wait, hold on. How old are you, Ramses?
34.
Oh, okay. See, I just turned 32 in December, so I'm right behind you, boys.
Getting there. Yeah, boys there already. Yeah, when it comes to money and finances, what are your thoughts? And I'm gonna calculate 20. I'm gonna say 19 because 19, you're barely getting out of high school or fairly 2 years out of high school. You're not really thinking long term. You're not thinking a lot about your mortgage or whatever it comes to like being an adult.
Like new to the world, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. So now that you are 26 or fairly new to being 26 too, your thoughts when it comes to finances now and what your thoughts were then, as far as like your positives and your negatives.
Negatives. So pretty much the way I would think when I was like 19, my thought of money and the finances, it wasn't really as important as it is now. Because when I was at that age, of course, I knew when I was going to start working that I was going to help my dad at home. But my mind was more towards, I'm going to use this money to go bowling, to go to the movie theaters, just eat a lot. And as you could tell, I ate a lot, So my whole thought about money, the finances, it wasn't really there because all I wanted to do is have fun. As long as I gave my dad the portion of the rent, because I the moment I started working, my dad charged me rent. As long as I gave that, and I just paid that one bill, the phone bill. I knew all this money I could use just to go have fun. Yeah, it was just a young mindset. Yeah. Just have fun, go do this and this with my friends. But over the period of time, once I started struggling a little bit with my finances as I was growing, I was noticing that that wasn't the mindset I should have had. I started seeing that money could actually be a tool, and I should start saving money. So I feel like now that I'm at 26 now, if I knew how a 19-year-old was, if I saw a 19-year-old and he was thinking the way I was thinking back then, I'll slap him in the back of the head. I'm like, dude, like don't waste your money.
Teach that boy a lesson.
Yeah. No, but I would totally slap, like, not too hard, but
Not too hard.
Like,
no, it's got to be hard.
It's got to be hard for them to learn, right?
No concussions here.
No, but I would pretty much, give my younger self the advice I know now. Just now that I'm at this age, I know that, and now that I have a dream goal to lean towards. Now I know that money, I gotta save it. I can't be going to movie theaters or spending too much on food, or I can't just go to bowling alleys every single day like I used to. Because back then I used to go to bowling alley like 5 times a week.
Oh man,
because I didn't have much responsibility, and also my mind wasn't fully developed, I guess. So yeah, my mindset about finances now compared to then is like, save more. If I do open the credit card, pay it off on time. As you guys know, now I'm doing that little detailing on the side. So I invested money into that to kind of give me more money to build towards my future restaurant. God willing, we get there. So yeah, I mean, like a big difference in how I view money now. Now money's a tool, and now money's capital. Money, I could use it to help my family. Of course, I'm not gonna love money. Because I know, like, kind of what you're saying, like, the love of money for the money is to the root to all evil. I don't see like that. I see more like, it's beneficial. Like, as long as I don't love money, like to the point where like I just want it all the time. I feel like money is really useful. I could help many people. I could help the homeless. My dad, my parents, everybody. So I have a big different mentality on like money. So I feel like,
No, that's good. That's a good way to think about it. When it comes to your age, because I said, I think I matured a little bit differently. I matured not because I guess it was more of a necessity, because like I said, my background's a little bit similar to yours. I would say a little bit different because I was born I came from Mexico.
Okay.
So I couldn't even work at Taco Bell or McDonald's. I couldn't have the 9 to 5 like everyone else after high school. I didn't have a license. I literally had to hustle to get money. I had to create my own jobs from the beginning. So it was more of like, you either do it or you don't. And if you don't, or literally your friends are going to, go to live their lives. I would see my friends with their cars, even though they're buckets, but yet they're still driving something, And I literally had nothing. I would always have to call my friends, hey, could you pick me up? Because I didn't have a car or I didn't have any way to make that money. From that stress, of not being able to provide for myself, I had to right away grow up. I'm like, bro, you have to figure this out because life isn't going to give you what you want. It's you have to go get it. Of course, being responsible with my money is another thing. I didn't really like money because when I'm always thinking more of the artistic side of my brain is always going. When I was doing the music thing, I was more of like, okay, let me figure my music thing first, which is my strings, the guitar. I need to go tune it up, fix my amp. So it was always music, which is really good because I was putting the money that I was making back into the thing that I wanted to do, which was motivating me to then go teach more.
You're investing it.
Yeah, I was investing it in myself, but I wasn't really investing in like, okay, should I invest in real estate? Should I invest it in some sort of other, like what you're doing with your car wash, so that I could then make more money or passive income. I wasn't really thinking that far. And now that I have my own company, it's a little bit different because now I am looked at, look, if this company fails, then I have to let my employees go. So I have the responsibilities as far as like for my finances, but not other people's finances. So it's more of like, I created my own family. Now I have to take care of it. So I have to keep going.
Kids,
yeah, exactly. I have to keep going.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, it's really good to hear. I'm happy to hear that Omar is like now getting it. Yeah,
dude, I got it now, man. It took forever, but not forever. I think everything happens when it's supposed to.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Everyone has a different path.
That's true.
And honestly, everyone's path is going to be a little bit different. Like maybe, again, Gilbert, you figure it out now. And, by the time you're my age, you're like, oh, okay, cool. You're at where Irvin's at right now, and it didn't take you as long. But also, I've seen, what was it? The owner of Kentucky Fried Chicken, the Colonel, I mean, he didn't make it until he was like 50 something. And it's like, there's no time limit. The time limit is when you're dead. When you're dead, you can't do it anymore.
Time's up.
But time is up. But meantime, while you're still alive, you got all the time. You got all the time in the world. And that's what I figured out. I think I was moping for a bit, honestly, if I just have to be honest, that I was like, oh man, I wasted a lot of my time. Why couldn't I, at 18, while I was working my warehouse job, 12 hours a day, squirrel away some of that money, put it in a house. I look at the houses now and I'm like, bro, I had the money, dude. It's just, I was just too busy enjoying my time, and because I thought this is the only time you're ever going to get to be able to do this. Because again, I came from a family that, wasn't well off either. And, they came from Mexico. I was born here. So I had the opportunity of being born here and I didn't do anything with it. I kind of just was like, all right, I'm sure it'll come. But,
he's multitasking over here.
I'm trying to multitask. I realized the camera's on me and this other camera just turned off. But yeah, I realize now that, you just gotta go with the flow. Sometimes you learn it now, sometimes you learn it later, but don't be upset. Just get with the program.
I get what you're saying too, because at some point in my life when I was younger, there was resentment towards like my situation, because I would see my friends have certain things, privileges and everything that it was given. But now I'm grateful for those, for those moments of my life. Even when I had first met Omar, there was pressure within that group of people that they would always pressure me as far as like what I didn't have and what I couldn't technically provide. And it had nothing to do with me as a person. It was more of just like, I get it. At the time, I couldn't provide certain things. I couldn't do certain things. But now it wasn't because my character was off, my morals were off. It's not that I was drinking because I don't drink, or it's not because I was partying. It was literally certain things that I now understand as an adult what those people were telling me, and that pressure allowed me to basically wake up, even though there was resentment. With that resentment came pressure, with that pressure came energy, and that energy, I'm like, bro, you either use that energy to go and do what you need to do,
Yeah.
or you get stuck and get depressed, and now you're on medication, and now you're not Skid Row, that kind of thing.
Oh man, this went south. This went south. There's no in between, huh,
No
Irvin?
in between.
No in
Not the
between.
middle.
Things got a little dark.
Hey, I like it. I like
Time to
it.
go.
End up in
yeah.
Sierra Highway,
Full time.
If you're in the AV, you know what he's
Yeah.
talking
Oh
about.
man, don't go to Sierra Highway.
There's my podcast right there.
Hey, Instagram's gonna take you down, bro.
Oh man.
Yeah, but no, for sure. I think pressure is very important, but you have to understand that it's just part of life, like,
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
certain people are given certain things, and some people do, with even being handed certain things, do develop, to be a better person and develop even a greater path for themselves. But unfortunately, because that pressure sometimes isn't in them, I guess, it becomes a sense of weakness for their character, where they don't build their character and they don't become anything. They just become dull.
Yeah.
They're just just navigating and just living their lives, but literally there's just nothing. No one remembers them. Like they're not even with their own group. They're just the average whatever person.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sadly,
Yeah, it is what it is. That's what it's life,
Yeah, it is, man.
Yeah, it's life. And like I said, I think it's very good that you're hanging out with your cousin, because like I said, it's very important that you hang out with people that are inspiring you, because they are doing the things that you would one day like to be inspired to inspire someone else.
Yeah.
In at the time that he's in. And we're still fairly young. I'm not gonna say that we're that old. We're not.
No,
We're in our prime right now.
Tell it to my knees. Tell it to my knees.
Still good.
Tell it to your knee.
I just got to move a little bit more. That's what they told me. It's all right.
So that's
We'll
not worry
stretch.
about it.
Time to stretch.
Time to stretch. Irvin, when you were talking about every morning you have to stretch, bro, I felt it. I felt that when you said that, dude. I was like, oh man, I used to not move around, and now I'm like, oh, I'm moving all the time now. I have to, or else my joints get all crusty.
Yeah, and I think sometimes it is important. I think you had mentioned that if you were to go back or meet your younger self, you'd kind of like almost slap yourself in the back of the head.
All right, knock me out.
And I
Knock him out.
Knock him out, bro.
knock them out to get some sense. And I know this is I know this is controversial, because certain people do feel a certain way how to like I would say motivate certain people, like, and I would say guys, because like I said, we're very hard-headed.
Yes.
We're very like, if we want something and we don't want to do something, we're not gonna do it, or we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
That's who we are as people, and I think it's a good thing and it's a bad thing. I think I had spoken to Omar maybe a year ago, and I kind of gave him like some tough love.
Yes, you did. I remember. I was like, man, all right. I went home and I thought about that one.
Right, and I think it was more of a. It's because I know Omar, and I know he wasn't going to feel disrespected. I've known him for a couple years now, like I said, 14 years now. It's not like we hang out every day or every month or.
You don't need to.
And once in a blue moon, like once in a blue moon, I'll see him. And I hadn't seen him for maybe, I would say 13, 12 years. Or maybe, no, probably less.
Less.
Maybe like 10 years.
I want to say 10 years.
10
Yeah.
years or maybe 9. But it was a good amount of years that I didn't see him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I saw him, was it last year, right? Where I came in to grab that amp that's right behind
Oh,
you.
that's right. That's right. Yeah.
I literally just walked in there because my old band.
Oh, you know what?
high
That would have
school.
been like 5 years, actually, or 4 years since I think.
Oh, because you tried out for my band too.
Yeah, because I was like, I remember I was like, no. There was an instance where,
You tried out.
yeah, I did, I did try
It was
out.
longer than 5 years, because that band had.
How long ago was
I'm
that?
gonna say 8, 7 years.
There you go. So then I hadn't seen you maybe, if I've known you for about 14, I would say. I haven't seen you in like,
We're not good at math.
I'm not good at math, no. And I'm a musician. We're both musicians. What's going on, bro? I want to say it was like, yeah, if you were 21, I think I didn't see you for like 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
And then that's when you came into the store.
Okay.
But recently, yeah, it'd been like 2 years, 3 years since I've seen you,
Yeah,
since you started your business.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Nice.
And it was more of just like random, because I didn't even know that you were still working there.
Mm-hmm.
And I just walked in there, and it was like, I haven't played the guitar in a good minute.
That's right.
And I just bumped into you and I'm like, hey, you're still here. And, you know, we're just chatting it up. And literally, like, told me his like little life story. I'm like, Omar, I got to tell you something. He's like, what? And then we kind of just had this little.
You stop him beside the head like he.
Oh, bro, he almost knocked me out, bro. I'm just saying, like,
He was like by the cashier.
dude, I was. Hey, but you got an amp out of it. I'm just saying.
You gotta
Discount.
Yeah, but no, I think it's very important that guys we have to keep each other in check, especially if there's guys that we do care about, because we are very hard-headed. We don't like to listen. We are stuck to our ways sometimes. And, you know, like I said, Omar is my friend and I'm always going to care about him. But, you know, he told me a couple things that I'm like, all right, didn't sit still. In my head, I'm like, Omar, I got to tell you certain things because someone needs to tell you. You know, someone needs to tell you. And I'm pretty sure no one has been or has the courage to have told you. And
I like that you said that nobody had the courage. Maybe in their heart they saw it, or they were just like, I should say something. But there's a lot of like silent motivators, which is like, oh, I don't want to hurt his feelings, or oh, I don't want him to think this way about me. I don't want to think he's judging me. And that's what we all do as guys. We're hard-headed. The minute somebody tells us, yo, you're doing this, the first thing that happens is like, well, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. And we close ourselves off, believe it or not, because of emotions. Mm-hmm. That was a reaction that we reacted to when someone's trying to instill some sort of information. Mm-hmm. And Irvin, because again, I've known Irvin for a long time, and you know, he's not afraid. He's like, oh, dude, someone did this to me. I got to keep doing this. And that's what a mentor does. That's what a good friend does. That's what, you know, somebody who understands that if I don't do this, nobody will.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
True.
And it could be said once. That's the thing.
Oh yeah, sometimes just once.
I'm never gonna bicker at anybody.
No.
I'm more of a. I'm gonna say it once. It was said on my behalf. You do with information what you do with it.
I like that.
You know, that's it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna baby anybody either. You know, that's the thing. You know, like Omar is his own person, and that's it.
You can take the horse to the watering hole, but you can't make him drink water.
Hey.
Can he drink
I read
it?
that in a book.
I'm drinking it.
He's drinking the lake.
Bro, thank you for that.
Yeah, but I think it's very important that we take each other into accountable. You know, keep each other like, all right, we see each other, motivate each other, and then basically just, okay, if we see someone struggling, help them out. You know, that's it.
Yeah.
That's all we could really do. But
Of course.
don't feel pressured either to like, okay, you have to hold someone's hand and, you know, like, bro, like you're a guy.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you the information. I'm going to help you out how I can. But if you don't want the help, there's nothing I could do.
Yeah.
That's all you could
Pretty
do.
much.
Yeah. But I'm really happy that Omar is doing now what he's technically should be.
Just so you know, I should probably plug in the website, actually.
There you
I
go, bro.
appreciate
Like,
you
plug
that.
it in.
Yeah. No, I recently got the website going. I'm in the process of hiring contractors,
There you go.
actually. Anybody out there listening to this who is an independent contractor who already does cleaning, please contact me. Because for right now, it's going to be me, my brother-in-law, my little brother, and one other person who's going to handle the bulk of this cleaning and all the stuff that we're going to be doing.
Yeah.
So ultimately, I would like to step away from this so that I can just play music and travel and do whatever I want to do.
There you go.
So yeah, anybody who wants a job, contact me, please. But the website is www.avcleaningcompany.com.
There you go.
Go check it out, please. And yeah, if you just want to leave me a Google review just because you want to, go ahead. Give me 5 stars and tell me how great I was. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey.
No, we'll definitely give you a shout out for that as well. Make sure to send you a clip so you can put it on your social media.
Hey, thanks,
There you
man.
go. There you go.
I like that.
Support each other, you know.
Absolutely.
It's all about,
You
man.
know, support creatives, support those that are entrepreneurs, motivate those that, you know, are being motivated by, you know.
And keep your boys accountable.
There you go. We're hard-headed. We're hard-headed, bro.
I know I am, bro. I mean, the whole reason why I was quitting is like, I don't like being told what to do. Such a silent motivator. It's just as simple as that. That's why I was like, oh, no offense to anybody in charge. It's not their problem.
Yeah.
It's my problem.
And knock them out if you have to.
Exactly. So I know you have a show to go to, so I don't want to keep you up too late, Omar.
Whoop, whoop.
Thank you for coming through.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate your contribution to that board over there.
Oh, bro, I hope it turns out good, dude. I just been just switching buttons, and I'm like, oh, God, I hope this is the right camera angle.
Hey, the audio was never connected.
I'm just
Yeah, and of course, I do want you to be on my podcast, just one-on-one.
absolutely.
We had spoken about that prior, but then the people that I usually have working the board weren't able to come through today. So, and of course, this was last minute too. It was like literally like within 2 hours that we were talking about it.
Oh, very spontaneous.
Yeah, very
But I love it.
Yeah,
I was at work and I was like, what?
Okay.
Podcast today.
Podcast?
Yeah.
But I think it was, if anything, being that you're being here with me for the first time, if anything, you didn't overthink it. So I'm pretty sure you just walked in and like, all right, I'm going to do a podcast. But if we would have set it up for maybe a week, you maybe would have gotten nervous. But I don't know.
I feel like I probably would have got nervous. Like,
There you
man, I was
go.
gonna go, but spontaneous is good though.
Yeah,
Like,
just in the moment, just like, all right, I'm just
Yeah.
going to go do it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you for inviting me once
Yeah,
again.
for sure, man. And I'm happy to have you again. Of course, I'm going to keep continuing asking your cousin, or if I see you, I'm going to ask him, like, bro, what you do this week? You know, if you tell me, like, I went to the bowling alley all 5 days.
I guess it
what's
didn't.
going on here?
I guess it didn't stick to me. I guess my money just not.
We're about to go do that after this.
I bet you're real good at it, man. Going to the bowling alley every day, bro. Hitting 300s every time.
Well, as long as you're making money at that.
Yeah, I know, right? Competition.
And of course, Ramze, thank you so much for coming
course,
through. And
of
of course, like I said, I like what you have going on with your podcast.
Thank you.
Your Shade of Brown. You know, I think it's a one. I like the name.
A little biased, aren't you?
People been telling me, they're like, bro, I like the
I
name.
like the name.
Yeah.
I could relate.
I
I don't know why. But I could relate.
What shit am I?
Everybody in this building is brown.
Yeah.
So yeah, so keep doing what you're doing. You know, like I said, I wouldn't have met you if you wouldn't have actually started the podcast. Even though we did meet each other.
But we would have never known.
Exactly, but we would have never known. We never would have thought about it.
Mm-hmm.
So from that, you know, just keep doing what you're doing. I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna ask you every now and then what Gilbert's doing.
Hey, just message me, bro, on
All right, I'm gonna message you.
Instagram.
I'm gonna call you
I
too.
give
I'm
you my
like, bro,
phone
what you do
number,
today?
my digits.
Yeah.
What you do today?
Yeah.
Bowling alley? I hear bowling ball.
Better not say. I hear bowling balls in the background.
I hear bowling ball.
He just did a strike right now. Yeah.
No, it's a TV. Yeah, and then of course Omar for being my friend for all this time.
Shout
I
out.
ain't going
Omar.
nowhere, brother. I appreciate you.
Nice to meet you, Omar. I love
Yeah,
to meet
bro.
you, man.
You guys are the best, man. Thank you.
you,
Hopefully,
dude.
hopefully we can
Cool
do this
guy, man.
again.
Yeah, for sure. Omar's definitely a cool guy. Very talkative. You know, like I said, he's very the type of person that wants to give everybody a hug.
Mm.
So if he wants a hug, you just let him because he's just gonna force you to do it anyway.
That's cool. So.
We're gonna group up after this.
Hell yeah.
Maybe you three. I don't want to.
Now you're gonna get in it, and we're gonna talk about our feelings, bro.
Feelings.
So once again, thank you.
Yeah.
And then thank you for those that have gone through this whole random conversation that no one knew where it was going to lead to. I thought Omar was going to start crying over there.
Yeah.
But
I already am.
Maybe the next one. Next one
And then the next one.
Maybe
Maybe.
crying.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, see you guys on the next one.
For sure.